All right, we're going to get started with our panel tonight. Britt is going to take over and introduce your first person.
All right, Jamie, you're going first. You got this, girl? Okay. All right, let me see. I gave them questions ahead of time because I wanted to prepare them a little bit because they were all super nervous, but I told them they're going to do great. They're fine. Okay, so Jamie is a one-star diamond coach. She's in qualification right now. She started coaching a year ago, almost to the day, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, I have a few questions for her. So, how do you approach inviting to coaching? Because you're always like, new coach, sign up, new coach, got a new coach on my team, got a new coach on my team. So how do you approach inviting to coaching and getting your new coaches signed up?
Okay, so inviting to coaching, I try to follow 3 different ways of coaching. When you're following your tracker, I am inviting to kind of like a cold market of people that I would consider dream team. So I always make a point to intro with an invite, letting them know that I run a business and that I have a monthly mentorship and that I usually accept 3 people. If they want more info, let me know. And then the second way that I am coaching, like sending coach invites is like, if I'm messaging somebody and we're having good combos and they're like, oh, I already have BOD. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. Have you ever thought about coaching? Not necessarily like they're on my team or anything. It's just like planting a seed. Sometimes they'll come back to me later and be like, yeah, that sounds fun. And then the last thing I do for inviting to coaching is my challengers. I invite every single challenger every single time. Usually in a voice memo, I let them know what they're excelling at, how they could help someone, and kind of touch on what they've maybe overcome. Like if when we were starting our conversation, they said they didn't have time, I will remind them like how far they've come and how they could maybe help other women in the same situation. And that's really how I invite to coaching.
There are a few questions in the chat box from Steph. So how do you determine your dream team?
Okay.
And how long do you wait to send to a challenger about coaching?
So with my dream team, it's kind of like if I like their profile, I like what they post. If I know them personally, it's kind of like I connect with them like socially, maybe. I could see myself working with them. I could kind of see me being able to mentor them. That would be considered a dream team, like an asset. Maybe something that I'm not great at. Whatever that may be. Like if I find myself like avoiding a certain thing and I think this person would be amazing at that one thing. That's kind of what usually what I'm looking for. I can't think of an example right now, but if I think of it, I'll put it in the chat box. And then how long after they are a challenger? Usually anyone that is consistent with the first 2 weeks, I will invite them to at least my coach sneak peek. So within 2 weeks, if they're sharing a sweaty selfie or they're tagging me in their stories or they're like responding to questions for other challengers, if they're posting in our big sweat squad group, anyone that's showing up like a coach, I just let them know what they're doing and as soon as possible.
I love that. Okay, and then one other question we had for you. So you're 1 year into coaching, you're a one-star diamond coach. Well, what would you say your biggest successful point from like crushing your first year as a coach?
Maybe I stole this from Stephanie, or maybe I stole this for someone. Success is a choice. And just like overwhelm is a choice, success is a choice. I let my upline know. So Britt Baker is my coach. Her upline is Stephanie Malky. I'm very clear about where I want to go in this business. And so if I doubt myself, someone can kind of tell me, shh, don't say that. Let's flip the script, right? And then success has a roadmap. So if you see other people being successful, hone in on them. What are they doing? Copy it. You don't have to be like them, but like use their plan and apply it to your principles. Because success leaves breadcrumbs. Like people are successful because they're doing certain things. So, and if you can't figure it out on your own, ask. Be like, you're killing it getting coaches, or you're killing it getting Success Club 20. What are you doing? So ask questions, lean in. And then if you are avoiding something that in your business, for example, you're not sending cold invites, or you're not sending, I don't know, don't want to come off salesy, go to someone and say, hey, you don't come off salesy. Like, what are you doing? Like, how are you approaching something? So yeah, that's what I would say. Just lean in, get success partners that want to do the same things as you, and check in on them because they need you. You need them as much as they need you. So that would be my biggest one.
I really love that you just said that, like, follow what other people are doing. This business is like, we've all done the same things to get to where we are. There's no like secret, right? We've taught you everything, and it's just a matter of doing the same things and just figuring out a way to do them well. People that come in and they're like, oh, I'm going to do it my own way and I'm going to change it all, and it usually doesn't work. This business works really well with the same systems. It's the systems that can be duplicated throughout your team and such. So I love that point. Like, follow what people are doing.
Yeah. And the last thing I would say is I joined a Diamond Push group, like as soon as I committed to coaching, and I followed a tracker. So if you have a new coach or something, give them a tracker, see what they're not filling out, and help them with what they're not completing, and be honest with them. Like, be like, I know you're avoiding this. Let's do it together. Meet me on Zoom. So that's all I got. I don't see any questions in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You did awesome. One day she's like, this feels like the national wake up call. It's like, well, one day you're going to be on it. So this is good practice for you. Do you want me to just keep going with my two? Okay, Rachel, you're next. All right. Let me see. So Rachel started in January. She followed me for 2 years, was on my team, was off my team, back on my team.
That's embarrassing.
No, it's not. Stop. I was so upset. Like when you left, I was like, okay. But yes.
Girl, my head wasn't right. Now it is.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad you're back. She hit Diamond in 4 months, and she is a success starter and going to be in the next test group that we don't know about, that we're probably going to find out at Summit. Screwed on you.
Rachel.
Okay. So, okay. So you got to Diamond in 4 months. What do you think the biggest mindset change was for you to get there? Like after you started coaching, what was like, cause you like hit it. Like, I remember you were like, I'm like 4 away. I'm going to hit it now. And like in a day you did it.
Well, I would say, like, honestly, there's probably 2 mind shifts that really happened for me. The first was in January when I decided to coach, because like you said, like I decided to jump back into Beachbody and coach at the same time. My life at that point, I just needed a big change, and I just knew that I needed to commit to myself and hold myself accountable. For my entire life, I've played sports since I was 5 all the way through college, and exercise has always been like something that I did, that I worked for a tangible outcome. So my first mind shift was honestly around the workouts. I had to like shift my mindset that exercise wasn't a job, that I actually had to do it to enjoy it for my health. And for me, honestly, the first 2 months, that's what it was. It was sharing my journey on social media about how I'm changing my view on working out and being able to do it with my kids. Because if you don't have that, if you don't have the passion for what it is that we do and we share, like your business isn't going anywhere, whether that's the products, whether that's the exercise, whether it's both combined. You have to love what you're doing. So I would say like January, that was like my first mind shift that had to happen. And that took some time. Oh my gosh, you guys are so sweet. And then the second shift was last month in April. And that was when Britt, I messaged you and said, I actually was 2 away for like 6 weeks. And I remember on one of our Tuesday calls, Steph was like, oh my God, you're 2 away. You're going to hit it tomorrow. And I was like, yeah, sure. And it took me like, I pushed really hard those last like 2 or 3 days of April, and I hit it because I started, and I'm sure there's some of you on this call that you don't do PD every day. And I made a commitment to myself in April that I was going to do 10 minutes of PD every day. That was the one part of my tracker that I was not doing. And my success partners, as well as my coach Britt and my girl Jamie, held me accountable for just doing PD. And I'm going to tell you, it's so simple. I thought it was going to be, oh, I have another thing to schedule into my day. But literally when I showered or I drove to pick up my kids, it was 10 minutes of a podcast. And right now I'm loving your virtual upline, and I'm so excited that Bob is going to be at Summit because I'm like gonna fangirl out like crazy. But one of the things he's been talking about a lot over the past month is the shift from transactional mindset to transformational mindset. And that's what happened for me in April. It's like I was so focused on Success Club and hitting the numbers and like, how do I get this number? How do I make this much money for my family? Because I want to be home full time. So I have a financial goal with this business, but I wasn't focusing on how I could help those people that were going to be the numbers for me. So I shifted my mindset that last week of April and now into May, like, how can I help transform people? So it's not necessarily like, what's my why? Because that's all about me. That's all about my success, why I'm doing this business. I basically shifted to thinking like, I help this type of person. And for me, it's the overworked, exhausted, busy AF moms. Like that is who I am. That is where I found this little gold nugget to like basically change my life. So shifting that mindset and really diving into PD is what happened for me in April to hit diamond, honestly, along with, my coach and my success partners, like hounding me, like, you can do this, believing that belief into me. So now moving into May, I now time block. I do 10 minutes a day of inviting, 10 minutes a day of adding, 10 minutes a day of posting in my stories, and 10 minutes a day of PD. And I'm not able to sit down for an hour because I still work a job, and I have two little ones, a 3-year-old and an 11-month-old already. So I do little pockets, like it's really truly little pockets within the day. And before I go to bed, if there's one or two things I haven't hit, I take the 10 or 20 minutes to do it before I go to sleep. So that has been a major shift in my business that before I didn't really believe was possible. And then I have Bob believing belief into me and my coach. So for me, that's what shifted last month.
Yay, I love it. Let me see. One more question I think I had for you. Oh yeah.
They're cute. I'm sorry, Bridget had a question. My favorite PD book to read. I love the 5 a.m. Club. I just got finished that. And then we read 10X in our like book club at the beginning in like January, February. And that was a great read too, as far as just like not giving 0 F's basically. And like, this is your life, you pay your bills. So do what you need to do and do it times 10 if you have serious goals to hit.
Can I ask a question about the 5 a.m. club? Because I'm
Sure.
listening to it right now. Did you read it or did you listen to it?
No, I listen to everything. I don't have
Did you
time
listen,
to.
am I listening to the right book? Because it's drawn out in the beginning. Like, okay, it's the right book.
Yes,
It's about
it's
the
slow.
entrepreneur and the artist and
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
I haven't gotten to the good part yet because I am like, who would recommend this book so far?
So you are a step ahead of me though, Steph, because you were actually getting up at 5 a.m. and Jamie can attest to this, how many times I've messaged her and said, I have my stuff laid out. I'm getting up at 5 a.m. But, and this might be an excuse, but those of you that still have babes understand, like my 11-month-old is sleeping maybe 2 hours a night. So like, I will get there because that is a goal of mine. But yes, Steph, it is a little slow, but the purpose and the meaning behind it is really great. Thanks, Jamie.
Okay. And then how are you creating community? You have 2 challengers that are coaches. Like one came to you and is going to sign up as a coach, obviously in like 4 months now. And then one of your challengers is a coach.
Yeah. So I did have one challenger switch over to me. She was a PC and dropped because she wanted to coach based on what she saw on my social media, which, is pretty awesome. That's kind of like a dream coach, right? They see you and they're like, hey, I'm already doing Beachbody, but I want to do it with you. I mean, that's what happened with me with Britt. I was like, I want to do it with her because she's serious. And this is what I want my life to look like. But honestly, I created my own challenge group with my own ladies pretty early. I think Britt, I might have messaged you a couple weeks in and said, hey, can I just create my own group? Because they were getting kind of lost in our big team. It was by far the best thing I could have done because it allowed me to coach them one-on-one, even if there were 10, 12 girls in there. And I will say that 80 to 90% of my energy in this business goes into my challenge group. I pour into them daily. Maybe some of you might pop in there and think I overshare, but I like share all the information. I get excited when there's launches coming out. I get excited when people complete a workout. I just pour into them. And then on my phone, on my notes section, I created a table of Monday through Friday, and I have each challenger under a day. So I check in with them on that day of the week. Even challengers that I've had since January, I check in still weekly with them. Some have dropped off, like know this because I went through this probably 2 weeks ago or a week ago where I messaged Britt and I was like, this girl told me I didn't hold her accountable enough. And she literally like left everything. But there's going to be people that join you and realize that this isn't for them. And you just have to move on to the next and pour into the next person. The other thing that I do is when they sign up, I send them a handwritten thank you card in the mail, not thank you card, a handwritten card in the mail, like, awesome, you're decided to change your life. This is amazing. And then I also send them another card after they finish their first program. And it usually has a small gift, like a $5 gift card to like Starbucks or like a $10 gift card to Amazon, depending on like, honestly, depending on like how resistant they were to join me. Like those that were like a little bit more hesitant and they really had some struggles pushing through their first program. Like I'm a behavior therapist, so like I reinforce them more. But I will say that there are times where my chats are like, I know we were chatting about this in our big coaches group, but there are times when people don't participate and I just keep adding value, try to add value to the group, and then people jump back on. The Fire and Flow launch is a really good example. I posted about that today and like everyone was like commenting on it and it had been kind of quiet for a couple of days. So 80 to 90% of my energy in my business goes into my challenge group. And then most importantly, I just show up and lead by example. So I make sure that I'm consistent on my stories. I need to be more consistent on posting on my storefront, on my Facebook page, but I do show up every day in my stories. I'm always inviting. I'm doing a lot more of shouting out my challengers. At first, I was like, oh, they don't want me to tag them in social media. They don't want me to let the world know what they're doing, right? For some reason, I was like scared that they didn't want me to share, but like they do, because people are proud of the success that they have. So celebrating every little success, every message, every step that they're taking in this journey, just pouring into them over and over and over again.
A couple little tips I'm going to piggyback off of her. So if you are a coach that's sitting here and you've been here for a little while and you haven't hit your ranks, what's probably happening is that you've kind of used up your warm market, and Rachel's a new diamond. So she's kind of like still touching in her warm market, like pushing out of that. But, and she just got done saying that she's mostly in her stories. When you're in your cold market, yes, stories are great, but your posts matter. Your posts live forever. Your stories only last for one day. So when you're friend requesting and growing your network and everything, people are going to look at your page. And if they don't see a ton of content on your page to know what's going on, what you're about, what's all the things, all they have are your last 24 hours of your stories to get a glimpse at your life. And that's not much. So your stories are great for the people that you already know. Your posts are for creating new connections. Make sense? Like those two, like the difference of those two things, they're kind of almost for two different audiences. So make sure that if that's where you're at, you're pouring more into your stories or into your posts and your stories. Also look at those analytics in Instagram and such and see where is your audience coming from? Like who's watching your post? Is it reels? Is it stories? Is it whatever? And then if it's reels, what are your reels? Are they stupid, like hiding from my kids reels, or are they value-based, working out, sharing nutrition reels? I'm just going to shout out Jess Harbor right now. Her freaking reels, when they have to do with nutrition, I'm sharing them all the time. I'm sharing her nutrition reels in my challenge group because they're bomb. Like I need to take a take the hint and do some myself. But her nutrition reels are so amazing. So like figure out those are the ones that are going to get the traction to our target audience, right? So that was just the one thing. And then also I know Jamie, Britt, and Rachel all run their groups through message threads. We have our big community Facebook group, but they put all of their people, all of their challengers are in a message thread, all of their coaches are in a message thread, and those are their groups. And it's working for this team like nothing I've seen. Okay. So these girls have every single new person gets added to the challenge, to their message threads, and they're welcoming them and they're shouting each other out and they're pouring into message threads. Sure, of course, some people are going to leave the group if they don't want to be in it, or they're not going to talk or whatever, just like a normal Facebook group. But direct contact right into their inbox all day, like, I mean, genius, and it's working for them. So something to consider if you guys are like, I'm not having contact with my people or anything like that.
Yay. All right, I have one more, Dawn, who just hit diamond. Okay, well, we will start with the second question. So she joined in January too, correct? You and Rachel joined like right around the same time, pretty much, right? Okay. What were you most excited about in hitting diamond? Like, why did you want it? And moving your business forward, why did you want to hit diamond? And what were you most excited about? Because I know you were like, I'm doing this.
Well, first, when I started, I wasn't all in. I started the group because of the fact I needed to work on myself and work on my personal development and everything else. So when I was on a Zoom meeting, I was like, after I got off all the hype, the excitement, everything else like that, I was like, all right, I'm doing it. What do I have to lose? I have nothing to lose. So I was really excited because I surprised myself in doing it. Like, I never thought I would be able to like hit diamond in 1 month. Like, it was incredible. Like, I pushed so hard and I got out of my comfort zone and I just did it. Like, I was just happy, very excited.
Yes. And then just, what was the other question I wrote? Oh yeah. What was your mindset shift? Like when you went to hit diamond?
Well, first, like I said, I wasn't all in it. And then I started with my personal development and then getting on these calls, which at first I wasn't because of the fact that again, like everybody else, excuses. Because I do have a 1-year-old that was up all night teething and I went to bed early and it was just not doable for me. But after I worked on myself and I got a routine, I was able to make the calls when I can. So it is hard for me to get on the morning calls because I do work as well. But anytime I get on a call or anytime I can listen, I listen. So what shift for me to hit diamond in like 4 days is because I did everything that they told me to do. And it goes back to what Jamie says, follow everybody else. And I actually did it. I got out of my comfort zone. I invited people looking at my story. I'm like, hey, did you see my story? I know you saw it, but I'm asking you, did you see it? And just kept inviting and talking to them. And it started conversation. And then it just started coming in after that.
I love that about the calls because I can remember like when I started, I was like scared to get on calls. Like I think I worked every Thursday. I think like originally the calls were on Thursday and I was like scared to get on. But then when I started getting on, I was like, this is like a real community. Like it's just a different feel. When you get on the calls, you like feel a different way when you go to sleep. Like
it's motivating. And then the night, I believe I was supposed to hit diamond. I think we had a call before that. I couldn't sleep all night long. I was like, oh my God, I cannot sleep. This is crazy. Like I was so like pumped, ready to message everybody in my, my Facebook. So it is like get on these calls and do what you're supposed to do. It works. Now, sometimes like everyone else says that sometimes people get ghosted. It happens. You just got to keep going. They'll come around.
Yes. Stay consistent.
Yes.
All right. I think my ladies are done. You guys did great.
So good. So good. Okay. I've got a couple ladies here that are going to share with us too.
First is going to be Lisa James, who I am really excited to learn from because she's kind of, in starting her business, she went about it in a way that I didn't even do when I started my business. So Lisa, the first question I have for you, and by the way, Lisa is about this, this is your 4th month, I believe, in coaching, but how did you approach connecting and inviting your warm market? Give us all that gold.
Okay. So first, two things. One thing you need to know about me is I like to know what the plan is before I execute it. And I didn't know what to do here with the Beachbody stuff. I signed up to do a 21-day shred with Nicolette on January 2nd. 5 days later, I signed up to be a coach. And I don't know why, just because I'm like, yeah, let me try that. My husband's been a Beachbody bod member for 7 years. And I'm like, I don't want to do what you're doing. Your way is not better. Nah, now he's laughing now. I can hear him in the kitchen laughing hysterically. So Nicolette, just like Dawn just said, one step at a time. Just do it one step at a time. February 17th, I woke up an emerald. April 21st, I woke up a diamond. How did I do that? I didn't tell anybody I was a coach. I didn't tell anybody I was doing Beachbody. Nobody cares about what my goals are. Nobody cares that who I know, nobody cares except the people that love me, know that I want to be a 1-star diamond by the time of summit or a 2-star diamond. Nobody gives a shit about that, to be frank. But what I did was 2 specific things that I listened to were pivotal for me. The first one is Janelle Summers. Can't even remember if she was in a 4 weeks to diamond group or because I'm old and I can't keep track of all these groups sometimes, but Janelle Summers, she was the one that taught me about that warm market, that ride or die, and that chicken shit list. Okay. Stephanie, or no, is Bridget on this call? Because I think Bridget's the one that posted that talk in the Slay Squad. And so if you all could get your hands on that talk, that was really good because I was a brand new coach. So I have all these lists. And so I needed to make sure that I was going to identify the people that I thought needed what I needed. I needed to de-bloat. I needed to lose some weight. I'm a skinny fat girl. I mean, I play tennis. I love tennis, but I need some muscle. I'm 52. I plan to live to be 100. I want to see my 5 million grandkids that my 18-year-old and 16-year-old are going to have in the future. I want to be a hot, fit mom because my husband is a hot, fit dad, So I had to make all those lists and then I had to execute them, but it's not about me. My very first chicken shit person that I asked to do the 4-week gut protocol with me, I saw her eat her way through Italy on spring break. And I'm like, she probably feels bloaty and yucky right now. So I'm going to ask her if she wants to join me in the 4-week gut protocol. Sure enough, she did. She's amazing. And then we decided to kick off a group of 6 friends in addition to that with a champagne to pizza party. And they're now all doing the 4-week gut protocol. So they're the warm market. I don't know if those girls are sitting over there talking about me going, what the hell is Lisa doing? Is she selling Beachbody or what is she, Shakeology shit, whatever. I got to not worry about that because these people need it. They're all bloaty. We're all 50-year-old middle-aged women whose kids are going to college. We're bloaty and we're fat and we have the pooch and we got to get rid of that shit. Okay. So that was number 1. And then Nicolette and Stephanie, oh, you two are precious. I cannot wait to kiss you on the lips at Summit. Okay. Because you're precious. All right. I love yous. So then I'm like, yeah, let me make my husband a coach. He's like, I'll be your coach. I'm like, sure you will. You're still going to do what I say though. Okay. Even though you're your own coach. And then my 18-year-old son, he's going to freaking college in August and he's Mr. Buff and a half. So I'm like, you're going to be a coach. And so that's Emerald in 15 minutes. That's Emerald in freaking 4 seconds and 1 cesarean birth. Okay. So that was the first thing. Janelle Summers, the chicken shit list, my ride or dies. I'm still not talking to them. It's my best friend and my mother. Why the fuck didn't they sign up? I don't know. Ride or dies. Excuse my French. I know that's a little much for this. Second one, Allie Upham. If you have not watched Allie Upham's YouTube video, you better go find it. You better earmark it. It is the bomb. She says, don't think about this like a commission business. Think about it like a volume business. Because I woke up a diamond on April 21st. Let's celebrate for 5 minutes with a cup of coffee. And let's go right back, because by lunch, someone's going to be inactive. By dinner time, 2 people are going to cancel their PC membership. So don't rest on the laurels of that, because you just got to keep churning and burning and burning. Now, what can I do for them? They don't care about me. They don't even know what the hell Summit is, and that I want to be 1-star, 2-star, 75-star, whatever by Summit in July in St. Louis. They don't know what's going on over there. They don't care. Nobody cares about your goal. So don't get all butthurt because they ghosted you or because they're like, I'm not ready right now. Who cares? Move on. There are a million people out there. Go back and do a new warm market list. Do a warm market of the warm market. Do a chicken shit of the chicken shit. That's what I'm in the process of doing right now. Haven't quite got through my warm market. Some of my warm market have moved over to the chicken shit list because I am starting to feel like a little, I'm just like everybody on here, emotional. And I'm like, oh, people don't like me. And Nicolette is probably going to stab me in the eyeball with a fork if I say one more time, oh, I don't want to post on Instagram, because I do not want to post on the freaking Instagram. But I did ask my 18-year-old son, critique me, rip it apart, tell me why people want to look at fit moms. He gave me some very honest feedback. So never close the door, regardless if they say no 1,000 times. Ashleen is a good example of that. She is now in my most recent challenge group. She said no, she said no, she said no 6 times. And her son and my son are graduating. We are very, very good friends. And she is the most adorable, plump girl you have ever seen in your life. She finally said, yes, I will do it with you. And she's doing it with me. So you can't get frustrated. That's the biggest thing. But Allie Upham and Janelle Summers. I have watched Allie Upham's YouTube 6 times because she talks really fast. It's an hour long. She's amazing. I could go on, but you only asked me one question.
Those 2 trainings were some of the best. Like Allie Upham's, I had never heard a training from her before. And I was like, I'm in love with this person. She's amazing. That was great. So really you identify your people and you kind of like already in your head have a really great understanding of, I know exactly how this is going to help them. And you just offer it to them in a way where it's like, why would they say no? Because it's solving exactly the problems that they're having. So the second question is, what would you tell somebody who's too nervous to talk to people that they know then?
Well, I would tell them to be themselves, be transparent, be nervous, be vulnerable. I am about to have a conversation with somebody that I don't really want to have a conversation with. But I know if she says yes to me, I will have access to 50 other people. So I got to get over my damn self and talk to her. And her name is Linda. And I'm talking to Linda. Linda was a bodybuilder in her 20s, and she's happy with her muffin top these days. And she's fine with the fact that she'll support the girls in the challenge group, which is why I applaud whoever, I can't remember who it was that does the text thread or the Facebook message with all the people in their challenge group. I learned through one of the trainings that we did, I do a bod group in Beachbody because Linda didn't sign up for anything. She's not a Beachbody customer. So Linda doesn't get access to all my goodness that I'm dishing out to my bod group. She would if she was in a Facebook Messenger group. She would get in there somehow. But Linda is the girl. She's the key to this one particular gate of the kingdom. And so Linda is very sassy, but I have got to kneel down and say, how can I help you, Linda? Or how can you help me? Can I have some of your expertise with your bodybuilding? How do you cut? I don't even know what the hell that means. What's your nutrition plan? Because people want to talk about themselves. And so you just have to appeal to what they want to give you. So I'm going to be vulnerable and I'm going to be like, I know nothing. Please tell me everything you have, Linda, because you're awesome. And I want to know how Linda would do it. So that's what I would say to someone who doesn't want to talk to anybody. Just appeal to them as they're the expert. Keep your inside voice inside though, okay? Because that would sabotage what you're trying to do. Tamp that down.
I love that. That's perfect. And the awesome thing, like with all that Lisa's built and Success Starter and, Diamond, and she's literally, she just started her social media, so she is doing this through word of mouth by talking to people, whether she's comfortable or not. She's simply having conversations with people. Do you do it mostly through text or call, or how do you connect with these people?
So I am involved in a lot of things in my day-to-day life, especially right now because of the senior graduating from high school. And so there's a lot of school activities and there's a lot of moms that are emotional about their firstborn or their seniors going away. And so when you're emotional and you feel fat, I mean, you're like a target for a 4-week gut protocol. Okay. So I was emotional and muffin toppy. So I'm like, if Nicolette, cute, think girls, so be in my shoes. So I had to pause Nicolette for 30 days on the Facebook because I'm like, I cannot look at her right now. She is too damn cute. And I'm angry at my muffin top self. So I cannot look at her right now. But then she caught me on a day. She caught me on a day in January and she's like, 21 Day Shred. I'm like, yes, I'm in. And then 5 days later, she's like, who wants to be a coach? I'm like, yes, I want to be a coach. And then we're talking about diamonds and whatever. So you just, if she had asked me a month ago, I would have been like, no, there is no way in heck I'm doing that. So you just have to, but to answer your question, in a short way, it's a lot of things. Texts, I actually blamed your group to get these ladies first to join me. I said, I'm in a bunch of millennial group. There's a bunch of millennials in this group. And I don't really know if they like me or if I'm gonna like them. So I need some of my own people to be with me to do this 21 Day Shred. Who wants to do it? And 6 people signed up. So women like to stick together. There's power in numbers. I apologize. I didn't mean anything by that, but here we are.
And the way you position it is we're doing it together. Like, I
Yes.
love the togetherness of it. Not like you sign up with me. It's just, no, we're
Right.
doing this together.
Right.
Hey, Nick, since we're talking about warm market, cold market, kind of, I feel like this is always a good thing to share, whether you're a newer coach or you're bringing on new coaches, is the cold market chart, the warm market, cold market chart. Okay. This is you guys when you start your business, right? This is your cold market down here. Your warm market is way up here. Your warm market is full. All the people that know, love, and trust you. Your cold market, you have no one there yet, right? So as you start inviting your warm market, you're kind of going to use them up and eventually they're going to be gone, right? If you start on day one building that cold market, there's going to be, so if you start on day one building the cold market, there's going to be a point in time where you won't run out of people. If you're waiting to build your cold market until you run out of warm market people, you're going to hit the spot where you have no one to invite because you haven't built that cold market and you have run out of warm market, and your diamonds are going to crumble. because you're not going to have anybody to fill gaps and fill the voids. So that's why social media is so important, and getting out there and posting on the Instagram and doing all the things, just because you're going to need to fill that bucket, because we only know so many people in real life. So we need to continue to make our audience bigger and better. And these people we see making these massive Success Club numbers and such on social media, or in Beachbody, they're doing that because they're getting massive amounts of eyes on their content. It's not just their 5,000 friends on Facebook. They are looking in front of tens of thousands of friends on Instagram. Facebook kind of limits you, where Instagram's endless on how many people get in front of you. So that's why there's pros and cons to both of them and all the things. So find what you like and run with it.
That is an excellent point, Stephanie, because that is what I realized at the beginning of May. I looked at, because I'm a numbers person, and I'm like, okay, how many do I have left? Like, how many? Because I don't know if anyone's ever been to a Mary Kay party.
Mhm.
Anyone here been to a Mary Kay party?
Mhm.
Okay. So what they want you to do at a Mary Kay party is to book classes from your classes. You
Mhm.
have, so you've been invited to a class, and then someone wants you to be the hostess. And then when you're the hostess, then someone at your party, so it's the same thing. So I want a challenger to bring a buddy, or I want a challenger to, it's kind of like a book a class from your class mentality, but it's find a new challenger from your existing challenger. That's your warm market. Build that. While at the same time, what Stephanie just said is find where they intersect. And my 18-year-old son told me yesterday, I don't want to partner with somebody like Nicolette, who has 4 million followers on her Instagram. I want to partner with somebody who has maybe 200 followers, because my 200 followers plus somebody else's 200 followers, that gets out exponentially. Whereas somebody who doesn't have the same amount of followers will absorb, like Nicolette will absorb me. I need someone who is at the same beginner level as me, so that we both can exponentially grow together while commenting on each other's. And so I'm currently taking applications or I'd like to apply to be someone's Instagram partner. I have other skills I can bring besides my social media deficiency. But anyway, yes. So yes, whatever that chart, Stephanie, that's 100%, because you can't just do this business with social media, and you can't just do it with your warm market. It has to be a happy mixture of both.
Oh my gosh, so good, so good. Okay, so I have Jen Brashear on here. We want to ask you a couple of questions too. So you have told the story before in some of our other groups and calls and stuff about, I love your analogy where you talk about being, in the bleachers versus out playing on the field. So the first question is, after kind of being in the bleachers of your business, like what was the mindset shift you had that brought you to like, boom, you're strong diamond and you have like huge goals in this business and you're going places?
So like what I talked about is whenever I was in the bleachers, I loved seeing like other people being successful, but I was intimidated by it, right? So whenever I would get on a Zoom like this, I would not have my camera on. I would never ask a question, and I would just watch. And really, it was kind of just like I started to dive into like personal development. And it was kind of like I had to hit rock bottom of, I got sick and tired of watching from the bleachers. Like I would see people who started at the same time as I did, and they would hit 5-star. And I'm like, oh, I'm an emerald coach, and it just really made me reflect back on myself. Like, what self-limiting beliefs am I letting hold me back on these bleachers? And I was intimidated, I was scared, and I had to break through those self-limiting beliefs to step on the sidelines, and then continue to break through those self-limiting beliefs to even step on the field. But then once I stayed on the field and I realized that this isn't a scary environment, that this truly is an environment that's going to help me grow as a woman, as a mother, and as a coach, then I stayed. And I was like, okay, this isn't that bad. These people are nice, and I'm going to do this. But it is so hard to break through your self-limiting beliefs when you don't get plugged in, when you don't do personal development, when you ghost your own coach, when you don't find a success partner. Then yeah, you're just going to hang out in the bleachers and be like, oh, wow, this is fun. you know, but the true fun is being on the field. And I have to put blinders on. I do, because I will start to compare myself to other coaches. And instead of it pushing me more, I think I'm not where I want to be. And I get frustrated and I shut down. So I want to be on the field, but my biggest thing for being on the field is don't get stuck in the comparison mode. Don't get stuck up, well, what exactly are you saying to hit Success Club 20? What exactly are you saying to get to Diamond? You've got to figure it out yourself and work on your mindset so that way you can do it. It does not matter what, you know, everyone else says. If it's coming out of your mouth and it normally wouldn't, then it's not going to be genuine. So once you work on yourself and your own mindset, then you can show up how you're supposed to show up to this business.
I know you're big on PD. You're like every single morning, not just for 10 minutes. It is more. Do you have a favorite book that really helped feed your soul with like the limiting beliefs and things like that?
It's a High Five Habit.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really like the High Five Habit. I spend like an hour in personal development because what I thought, you know, I would do mainly like personal development for my business. But what I've really learned with this business just in the last 4 months is how much my personal life affects my business. Like, who wants to show up on social media when they've just screamed at their husband, right? Like, I'm sorry, but that's not me. Like, I'm not a fake person. So whenever I talk about personal development, for me in the last 4 months, it's had to be my marriage. It's had to be me as a mom. It's had to be me as a coach. And I share that because the people in my audience, they're not coaches. They don't care about personal development. But whenever I say like, I listen to this podcast because I hate my husband right now, they're like, oh, okay, I'm listening to you now. And that's where I show them like coaching is more than just a business. Like, it is affecting every aspect of my life. So that's why it's so beneficial. And that's why I want to share about it with every woman, because personally, I think every woman could use growth like this business gives us.
Oh my gosh, I love that. It's so true. The growth that comes with coaching is unbelievable. So this is your second question. You have several coaches that are working on your team. We would love to know how you found them and how did you help them get to Emerald rank themselves?
Okay. So I have Jennifer on here, and so right now I think I have like 4 Emerald coaches, and really how I found them was on Facebook, just through mutual friends. And really, I want community right here with me. And we live in a small town. So people are like, oh, you know, well, can we be coaches together? I'm like, yes, because you ran in a different crowd than I did in high school. So, I mean, literally, like, my coaches, like Jennifer lives, I don't know, less than 30 miles from me. Like Patrice lives 2 miles from me. Like, all of these coaches are right here with me. And so that's really how I found my working coaches, is with community here, because I also, you know, I'm going to do the workouts at my house. So that's also an opportunity for me to talk about coaching with the community, the physical community here. So really, I found my coaches, they signed up as coaches. Like Jennifer Dickerson, she signed up as a working coach. I am still trying to get my challengers to realize that they are the best coaches. I have so many rock star challengers that are stuck in that mindset. And I am just trying to show them the backside of coaching that they're not seeing and the benefits to that. So really, friends of friends on Facebook, local in the area, and I don't know.
So do you still do you were doing meetups? Did that help you build like your local community and stuff? Do people like bring friends and things like that?
Yeah, so I have my first one this month because I had to take time off for my hysterectomy. So I have my first one this month, and then really I'd like to do 2 a month. But like, I feel like once people see you in person, then they see that you're a real person. You know, I feel like people can watch you all day in your stories, and I don't feel like they really know me until they see me in person. And the other thing that's hard with building in a small town, and I see these people in the school pickup line and they may not even acknowledge me. You know, like they may be telling me, we may be messaging back and forth and they're telling me their goals, and then they see me and they may be like, oh my goodness. But then I go up to them, and that's where you have to put down your self-limiting beliefs. And that's where I feel like Lisa did a really good job. It's not about you. It is not about you. So you have to put yourself aside and be the bigger person, and then reach out to that person, because who wants to talk about their weaknesses? Who wants to talk about their obstacles that they encountered? Who wants to talk about the fact that they're overweight or don't have energy? Like, nobody wants to talk about that. So whenever they do, they're vulnerable. So it's okay for you to get vulnerable too.
I love that. So those are all our questions. Do you guys want to, because we still have like 6 minutes left, do we want to have the panelists like give their number one top tip to get to Diamond by Thursday? Like, go and do this week. All right, so come up with your number one tip, and then we'll go through the panelists again.
My number one tip: set a goal for yourself, 10x it, and do not stop until you get to where you're going. So if you say you're going to hit Diamond, then all of your effort, all of your energy, whatever you're doing by Thursday equates to Diamond. It doesn't equate to followers or, you know, anything less than Diamond. So you have to come up with a plan. I think when Dawn was going for Diamond, she messaged me and she was like, how do I get 4 people? I don't remember the exact conversation, but she was like, I need 4. I was like, it's no problem. This is what we do. This is how you could do it. This is what you could try. And that may or may not have worked for her, but that's kind of how you have to approach it. Like, if you're going to go for Diamond, come up with a plan and then do that. Do not stop.
Jamie, it helped me a lot.
I would agree with that, Jamie. Like I said, I'm a numbers person. So in the first 2 weeks, I would invite, so statistically, I invite 30 people and 10 are going to say yes. So you need 12 people to get to Diamond, or however many people you need to get to Diamond, wherever you're at. Multiply that number times 3. And that's what you have to forget, forget about the followers and forget about all this. Just focus, laser focus, blinders on, ask 48 people between now and Thursday. 12 of them will say yes by Thursday, or you get what I'm trying to say. But yeah, I'm reading that book now. 10x it.
Love, yes.
I'm going to piggy off of Lisa, because my number one tip would be just to invite, like continue to invite. And if someone says no, move to the next, invite, move to the next, like have a plan, have your numbers like Jamie and Lisa said, and don't get caught up on someone where you're like, oh, they really need this in their life, and they said no right now. No, move to the next person. Like, this isn't about you. I mean, it is, because you have a goal to hit, but it really isn't about you. It's about finding your people and your tribe to help. So if they're not ready and they don't want to do that right now, see you later, sister. I'll talk to you next month. I'm going to the next person. You got to just keep moving, like really laser focused, like Lisa said.
And Rachel, that's beautiful what you just said. It's a numbers game, especially when you have a deadline by Thursday. So Nicolette and I talked about this the other day. If you have more time to leisurely play, mental games with yourself, then see if you can get 100 no's, because obviously some of them are going to turn into yeses, but we don't have that kind of time between now and Thursday. So now and Thursday, we want to be to Diamond by Thursday. So yes, Rachel, is beautiful. It's a numbers game. It's not about you. Move on.
I would actually, oh, so you can go ahead.
I was just going to say, one thing that I've changed in the last month has been my invites. So, my warm market, like Stephanie showed, I've used up all of my warm market. So I've really, all who I invite now, they're cold market people. So I had in my mindset, like, oh, I've got to carry on this conversation with them, and I've got to introduce myself. I have twin boys and blah, 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 blah. Oh, by the way, this is what I really do. And it felt so icky to me. And I was on one of those calls with Ali Tessitore, and she was like, really, you have a service that you want to offer these people. So why not just say that's what you're doing? Like, that may feel better. So now what I kind of say along the lines of, I do acknowledge the fact that they're a mother, because that's why I've connected with them. So like, hey, happy to connect with other moms. This is what I do. This is what I offer. Are you interested in this? And surprisingly, because I was like, this shit is not going to work. Surprisingly, I've had more women message me back than I'm a mom of 3 kids and I'm a stay-at-home mom. What about you? So I didn't have anybody, because they probably read that and they're probably like, why would I tell you anything about myself? But whenever I say, this is what I do, this is the service I offer, then they're like, actually, yes, that I am interested in that. Or, hey, can you follow up with me next month? But at least there's seeds planted. So everyone that's told me no for this month went into my free group. And what am I talking about in my free group? The launch. So, and then I can keep track of them that way. So I'm just coming right out of the gate with an invite.
Jennifer, I'm going to piggyback on that too, because then they start following your page, then they start following your story, and it is like dropping those seeds. And I have had several people from January, February come back to me and saying like, oh, it's like, I followed back up with them and they're like, yes, send me more info, because they've been following. Or they'll say like, oh, your stories are so inspiring. Or, oh, I love what you posted the other day about being able to carry your 3-year-old son on a hike. Like, they're actually like following your journey and what you're doing. And it gets you on their radar, and they don't realize it at that moment. Maybe they need this, but they do.
Amazing golden nuggets. Lindsay, I would say to buddy up and create one with somebody else, a free group. I have I have content out the wazoo that you could do for a free group.
And I'm going to challenge you not to buddy up. Don't buddy up. Do it by yourself, because what that is it's going to be your holding tank. And if you're buddied up with someone, now you've got 2 people mixed up in a holding tank and you don't know who's whose. I would do your own. You're literally creating just like a little fishbowl of all your fish that you're going to start pulling out and putting in your challenge group. If you could man up, put your big girl pants on, and do a Facebook group. Holy cow, that sounds hard, right? Do a Facebook group and just put some free people in it. Nicolette's got content. You can run a free group in there. You're just literally creating a group where you can put your people to hold on to them.
And you just keep using that same Facebook group. Just change out the theme each month and continue adding people to it. And that makes it easy, because this business, just like we're talking about numbers, Bob Heilig calls it sorting apples. You are looking for the green apples. So if you're standing in an orchard with a million red and green apples, the faster you sort through the apples to find the green ones, the more green ones you're going to find, period. And you're not going to get emotional about it. You're just going to keep sorting the apples until you've collected the green ones that you want. And that's literally what we're doing.
I love that analogy. And I also love the one when you're talking about coaches. So you want leaders, right? You want to find leaders on your team. Everybody can find like the people that'll sign up as a coach, but like finding the leaders. I love the analogy of solo cups across the football field. A football field is covered with red solo cups upside down, and underneath 5 of them are your leaders. You have to keep signing up coaches or flipping cups until you find those 5 ping pong balls. You have no idea where they are on that field or when you're going to find them, but finding those. So you need to just keep getting coaches to find those 5 leaders. And they say when you find 5 leaders who are like leaders of leaders, your business is going to be the $1 million business. So like keep flipping the cups. I'm here for it. That should be a game. We should do it at a retreat.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I haven't heard that one before. I love that.
Yeah.
And
Steph, I say that because on the last season, they had a challenge where there were rocks all in this this famous location in Europe. And there were 5 coins under each rock. There were 5 teams left, and each team had to find 1 coin. And they were flipping rocks for hours trying to find that. The same thing. It's the same concept that you just said about the solo cups.
And the piggybacking off of that analogy, he also said, he's like, you can't flip a cup and make a ping pong ball out of thin air. You're not going to make a leader out of someone who's not a leader. You have to continue flipping them until you find those leaders. And I just love that analogy.
Mm-hmm. Yay. Well, there we go.
There we go. This was awesome, guys. You guys are amazing. And
Yes, thank you panelists for sharing.
Yes, thank
So
you
good.
guys. You did awesome.
congratulations to all of you who have all recently locked in these ranks. I hope you guys are not stressing too hard through your qualifications and excited to see what other ranks you might pop before Summit. And ready to see everybody else pop their ranks too, all their goal ranks to be recognized at Summit. All right, guys, thanks for jumping on.
Thanks,
See
ladies.
you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.